Okay, you guys, we're back with another video. I've been really moved by the Most High to get into these subjects lately. I just did a video today about the Shamir worm and where it was found and its properties, and how King Solomon used it to help cut the stones for the temple, and how it was actually used by Moshe, to cut the stones and the other parts of the breastplates, or the bibs, as it says, for the high priest, which is very cool. I love learning about these creatures and these other entities that exist out here to help us, or sometimes not to help us. And today that's the case. We're going to be learning about Rahab, the angel of the deep. Now, we touched on this when we were talking about the Shamir worm. King Asmodeus, the demon king, told King Solomon, when he was looking for the Shamir worm, where to find it to use for the temple, he told him that it's not in my possession. It is in the possession of the angel of the deep, the king of the deep, or the lord of the sea. Now, I'm going to read something right here. We're going to go over here to this. I'm using my laptop. I'm not reading it off my phone like I usually would be, but hopefully it loads fast. I'm actually uploading the video, and this is from the site called Sophian.org. Ecclesia Pista Sophia. Very interesting website. Now let's read about Rahab, the prince of the sea, and we're going to go over here to the Shamir worm, where it talks about the Shamir worm we were bringing up in the last video, and I'm going to again highlight the story of Solomon and what Asmodeus, the king of the demons, told him. So let's get reading. Solomon accordingly summoned Asmodeus, the prince of the demons, who told him that the Shamir had been placed in his charge, but not in his charge, but in that of the prince of the sea. Okay, who is the prince of the sea? Funny thing is, when you look up the prince of the sea, or the demon of the deep, or the archangel of the deep, or an angel of the deep, you get Rahab. Rahab, prince of the sea. Rahab literally means violence, and his archangel is called Sar Shel Yam, prince of the sea. So the Shamir worm was in possession, was being possessed by, or was being watched over by Rahab, the demon, or the prince of the sea. This is great and a mighty angelic presence that can manifest in the most splendorous and beautiful, peaceful emanation, or in the most intense and terrible, wrathful emanation. And we know this because that's how the sea works. The sea can be tranquil, it can be peaceful, it can be calm, it can just be have you looked over the calm ocean before? Or it can be terrifying, it can be rushing waves and tidal waves, and waves like 40 feet high, and it can be rain and thundering and calamity. So this makes sense. Now, the title Prince of the Sea, however, goes beyond association of Rahab with the holy Shekinah. For quite distinctly, Rahab holds the knowledge and the power of the upper and lower firmaments. Thus, Rahab is the power of God that separates the firmaments. So Rahab is the prince of the water. Now, think about it. There's the prince of the sea. There's the prince of the power of the air. Interesting, right? Let's keep on going. Rahab holds the knowledge and power of the upper and lower firmaments. Thus, Rahab is the power of God that separates the firmament. So this archangel, or once archangel, as we read, was in charge of the separation of the firmaments, or was there on the days of creation when the firmaments were being separated, because the separation of the firmaments and the waters are very important. And Rahab is an angel present in the parting of any waters, whether at the Red Sea and the sacred Jordan. Likewise, the power of Rahab was involved with the appearance of Adonai Yeshua. Wow. Rahab was involved with the appearance of Adonai Yeshua, or Yahushai, walking on the waters and claiming the storm in the sea. Now, and some have said the miracle of changing water into wine. If you think about this, we have a lot of Israelites now that are starting to say that Yahushai is... They got some weird opinions on him. There's some stuff being said about him. And now you read this, and it says here that the angel of the deep, or the demon of the deep, the prince of the sea, Rahab, may have had stuff to do with the changing of the water into wine and Adonai, Yahweh walking on the waters. Now, we need to go into a lot more research about this, because in the first time I've heard about Rahab, the spirit of the deep, was when we were talking about the Shamir worm and how they were instructed to go get it from Rahab, the spirit of the deep, the prince of the deep. And I looked up who's the prince of the deep is. Rahab, and I've done research on the underwater kingdom of Satan and the underwater kingdoms of Satan, and sirens and marine kingdoms and marine entities. And Rahab was a name that popped up as one of the high leaders of it, or if not the leader of it. And he has multiple names, or he has multiple other names. Okay, so we're going to go and we're going to keep on reading about Rahab. The thing is about these sites, especially this one right here, Angelarium, is that they don't give you a lot of information at all. Here's one thing they say about it, but I'm not going to read it from this site because there's a way better site that we can be reading this from. And I find it funny, the one site that goes deep into Rahab, now all of a sudden won't load. Enter. Okay, come on. So, like I said, Rahab was in possession of the Shamir worm. King Solomon had to go send Ben-Yahah, send somebody, a man named Ben-Yahah, to go take the Shamir worm from him. And it says in the story about the Shamir worm that Rahab, the demon of the deep, the prince of the sea, entrusted it to a bird. And the bird would use it to fly around and split open rocks and drop seeds in between it. But like I said, we've already covered that in the video about the Shamir worm. We're on the spirit of Rahab, or the demon of Rahab, right now. Here's what Gabriel has to say about Rahab. Fallen from grace, once the angel of death, now he is a little more than a banished soul, chained to the depths of the ocean. Where in the scriptures does it talk about? In Revelation, I think 12 and 12. I don't know. It's Revelation, the exact thing, but it talks about the spirits demons or fallen angels being tied to the bottom of the Euphrates rivers, or tied to the bottom of the Euphrates. Did the term rivers get switched out from bodies of water like an ocean? Because here we hear a lot about Rahab, and you're going to hear about other spirits being tied to the bottom of large bodies of water. And how do we know that Rahab was once a spirit of the deep? We know that in the Sefer RAZIEL, the book of the angel Raziel, who is the keeper of the secrets of the Most High, that he gave this book to Adam, and that lots of angels were jealous. Let's go find this actually. Let's see. Okay, here's the site we're reading it from. Okay. Okay, the Sefer RAZIEL, Hamalak. Okay. This single lengthy text contains all knowledge of the universe known at the time, including every form of astrology of the planets in our solar system, to the creative life energy of this earth, birth, death, reincarnation of the soul, and many other spiritual subjects. Okay. Raziel, whose name means secrets of God, he's the keeper of the secrets of God, is often referred to as the angel of mysteries and the keeper of secrets. He is the archangel. He is an archangel. He appears in sacred texts, the cherub. Let's go back to where I was. The cherub attending God. One of the Ophinim, also called wheels, seen in Ezekiel's vision. Okay? Raziel is described as an angel with blue wings and a flowing robe and a glowing yellow halo and aureole. Let's skip the description that these Gentiles try to give of them. I'm trying to get to the juice, the fruit of what I'm trying to get to in this subject. Adam and the angel Raziel speak. Now, get this. We're going to get to a story about Adam and the Book of Raziel, which is basically the Kabbalah, every mystery on this planet that was passed down from Noah. Noah used it the information to it in it to help him build the ark. Let's see, Enoch wrote stuff in it. The angel Metatron that came down here as Enoch wrote stuff in it. It was passed down to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob, to Moses. Moses, funny thing about Moses is in the last video we talked about how Moses was handed the Shamir worm to use on the breastplates of the high priest by the Most High Yahweh on Mount Sinai when he went up there to talk to him. So clearly right off the bat we have multiple angels doing lots of things with us, and they're not as just pretty little beings as we were taught in church that just shine in the sky, or they're not just stars as a lot of these Christian conspiracy theorists claim they are. Oh no, the angels are literally affixed to the heavens and you can't move, they can't move, they're just glowing balls of ore. Like, shut up, get out of here, you don't know anything, you hide information. So let's read about Raziel and Adam. Raziel described as I already read that. The Book of Raziel, the angel, which is divided into 5 books or sections, claims to relate an interaction between Adam and the angel Raziel shortly after the fall. Out of Eden, Adam prays to the Most High and apologizes for betraying his trust from eating the tree of knowledge. Now, I read that in a book before, the Book of Adam, I think it is, or the Book of Moses, where it goes into the description after the fall of how Adam and Eve just were depressed and were upset, especially Adam. And here we're going to hear about the Book of Raziel. Moved by his prayer, God sent him his very best angel, Raziel, in order to help improve man's existence outside of paradise. He gave him the book of the secrets of the Most High that would teach him how to subdue the earth and make his fall a little easier, and make his time until his redemption a little easier. Raziel provides Adam with a wealth of important information, including how to speak and the powerful thoughts can have on both one's spirit and one's physical world. He describes the laws of nature of the planet, of life and of earth, and of life among the stars. Most importantly, Archangel Raziel teaches Adam the human soul, though confined within flesh of the physical body, is a person's means to finding a balance between the spiritual and temporal realms while living on earth. In addition, Raziel explains the Hebrew alphabet and how the 22 letters can be used. And here it shows a picture of the Hebrew alphabet, which I have one of my own that I wrote down. My studies of Hebrew have kind of slowed down, but I can say that my study of the Anabacoac has gotten better, and I've already gotten 3 lines down and memorized, and the 4th one I'm learning on memorizing right now. Now, here it goes into, let's actually read through the Sefer RAZIEL and how is it passed down through the ages. And like I said before, certain angels taught different of our patriarchies. It's certain angel taught David, a certain angel taught Solomon, and Solomon, the Sefer RAZIEL was believed to have disappeared after the days of Solomon. So yes, Solomon was the last one to be handed, the last king of Israel, the last leader of Israel, to be handed this knowledge and to be given this knowledge, but it passed down from Noah, from David to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, popular myths claim that other angels were angered by the Sefer RAZIEL. This is the part that gets crazy. The Sefer RAZIEL, I've been going on to a rabbit trail about this, but don't worry, I'm going to tie it back into the demon Rahab of the deep, or the archangel Rahab of the deep. As it was represented as a second chance for human beings who have appeared to have done so little to be worthy of redemption. So the Most High, as it said up there before, told Raziel to go to Adam and give him this book. These other angels were not happy. Wait a second. Adam, the humans, Adam and Eve get redemption? You care about them that much? You're going to hook them up with a book of secrets of some of the stuff that we don't even know? Oh, heck no. And it says right here, the Sefer HaRaziel, as it represented a second chance for human beings who appear to have done so little to be worthy of redemption. It is believed that one or several angels conspired to steal the text from Adam and Eve and throw it into the ocean. It goes into saying that the Most High called upon the spirit of the deep, the prince of the sea, our old boy Rahab here, to go down, because it says that Rahab, and we're going to read in this text over here that Rahab felt bad for Adam and Eve. Before Rahab was a fallen angel, he was the spirit of the deep in control of the dividing of the waters and the dividing of the firmaments. And it said that he felt bad for Adam and Eve. And when the Most High called upon him to go back down here and get the Sefer RAZIEL to give back to Adam, he did. So not only was the Sefer RAZIEL in his possession at one point, but the Shamir worm was in the possession of Rahab at one point. This dude seems to be quite the entity. Okay. Now, let's go down. Much of Rahab's background is unknown, other than that he is a great angel of the sea and a subordinate of Azrael. Unlike most angels, Rahab seldom came to heaven unless it was of utmost importance or was specifically called to by God. Like, when you had to go down there and retrieve the Sefer RAZIEL from the deep that the angels threw down there out of jealousy, that the Most High gave it to Adam to redeem him. All the waters were under his government, bays, rivers, even the waters of under the earth. Like, that's a well right there where the Shamir worm was being kept. And it said at the bottom of a well. It is through the rivers that he keeps in touch with earth, and thus knew more of the going-ons of the children of Adam than most of territorial spirits. Now, get this. It is said that Rahab was one of the angels that felt pity for Adam and Eve after their expulsion from the Garden of Eden alongside Raziel himself. Raziel offered them his book of knowledge in order to better equip themselves for the harshness of the primeval world. The angels were alarmed and quickly tossed the book into the sea. Rahab's dominion. Rahab instead, remember what we read over back when we read from Asmodeus, what Asmodeus said about the Shamir worm, it is not in my possession, it is in the possession of the prince of the sea. Rahab's dominion, the sea. Rahab, instead of keeping the book, returned it to Adam under the Most High's order. Just like we read up there before, he didn't do much. He was just down there unless the Most High called upon him. The oceans for the early descendants of Adam and Eve to make as their new home. Let's keep on going back up here. It is also said that Rahab was one of the ones who raised the continent of Hyperborea. So this dude Rahab is in charge of making continents appear and making bodies of water, land appear and sinking them. Who raised the continent of Hyperborea out of the oceans for the early descendants of Adam and Eve to make their new home and later a kingdom. He raised it as a gift for them, the then known Hyperboreans, for their contribution in maintaining the stable kingdom that did not threaten the lands or the sea. The destruction of the Hyperborea. This is where he fell. Perhaps Rahab's hand in the destruction of the Hyperboreans was his undying love for them. While they are creations of the Lord, of the Most High, Rahab saw that their development and the advance into a golden kingdom. Does that sound familiar? Have we all heard of a legend or a theory about a kingdom that was made of all gold that was sunken into the ocean? Let's keep on going. While creations of the Lord Most High, Rahab saw that their development and advancement into a golden kingdom that shone upon the surface of the ocean would not be without his doing, and he came to claim them as his own. He so loved them that, in fact, he would even prevent the likes of Satan himself from reaching the Hyperboreans. This created a fierce hatred between Rahab and Satan, as the sea would be the one domain that Satan had no dominion over. Oh my goodness. And go look up a video called A Kingdom Under the Indian Ocean, and you're going to hear one of these water deities, these female water deities, pretty much talk shit to this dude about Satan, saying he's a loser, and he's always been a loser. These people have different kingdoms. These angels have different kingdoms. Satan is not as powerful as we are being told he is. Satan has 3 kingdoms under the water, 1 on land, and 1 in the firmament. It seems like he didn't always control the water, and he probably didn't control the air. Like I said, we have the prince of the power of the air, and as we see in that we're reading, Rahab was the prince of the sea. This created a fierce hatred between Rahab and Satan, as the sea would be the one domain that Satan had no dominion over, despite declaring himself the God of the world. While he could not set foot upon Hyperborea, his children could. And in this case, Satan, we know who was Satan's little first baby, who was Satan's first case of being tricked outside of Adam and Eve, and technically Eve. Because we read that Satan really had no power over over Adam. He worked through Eve. In this case, Cain, the father of murder. Unbeknownst to Rahab, Satan guided Cain to the continent of Hyperborea, where he could perhaps find some meaning in his pitiful existence. Wow. Upon landing, Cain's presence within Hyperborea began to warp the nature of the people. The Hyperboreans began to deluge into sin, unleashing mayhem unto their kingdom, tarnishing the gift that was so graciously given to them by Rahab. But what truly sealed the fate of the Hyperboreans was their worship of the elk goddess Yonde. It was a fit of rage and desperation to protect the Hyperboreans, and was going against the orders of the Most High, the orders of heaven. Rahab tore into the continent, flooding a massive sections of the land, and even tore a chunk of the continent off in sheer anger, sensing the taint of the adversary, and would not allow it to fall under his hands and be seduced by his forked tongue. And this torn piece of the Hyperboreans drifted off into the sea and was said to become the kingdom of Atlantis. Oh my goodness. Gabriel, if you don't know the four angels of the four corners, Gabriel, Uriel, Michael, and Raphael. Gabriel's the angel of the east and the angel of... No, he's not the angel of the east. He's the angel of the west, and he's the angel of water. He's in charge of water. Gabriel's the angel of water, the one that's not fallen. Gabriel descended from the high and quickly subdued the fallen angel of the deep, Rahab. While fighting ferociously, he could not overcome the might of the great archangel Gabriel. As a punishment, he would be imprisoned in his own domain under the water, with the creatures he once swore to protect. From there, he ordered his host to slaughter the surrounding Cracken that were feeding upon the Hyperboreans, who attempted to escape through the sea. As he subdued Rahab himself, afterward he would use the corpses of the slain Cracken to bind the now fallen angel to the depths of the ocean, crafting chains from their entrails. As a result, the angel was banished to from the celestial plane. He could not go back up into the Most High's realm, not go back up into the firmament, not go back up into the heavens, and he was confined to the oceans of the world, unable to ever break through the water's surface to ask for forgiveness for his transgressions. The fate of Rahab. Rahab later became an angel of insolence and pride, refusing to repent before being freed from its aquatic prison. It is said that the struggling of Rahab against the chains shakes the world's oceans and produces tumultuous waves. It is also responsible for the roaring of the sea. It is now rumored that Rahab ferries the bodies of the dead into the sea. His new promise to mankind is to bring them to the depths where they will never be disturbed again. This passage into the darkness takes souls to the place of no return, the home of the deep dwelling angel. All the while, he endlessly seeks repentance for his misdeeds from the Almighty. Well, there you have it. We've learned about the Shamir. We have learned about Rahab, the prince of the sea, the angel of the deep, the fallen angel of the oceans, the one that is bound in chains, the entrails of the Krakens he was tied up with. Gabriel came down and kicked his ass and said, "You're being stuck down here. What do you think you're doing messing with these people like this? You have no power over them. What are you doing? The Most High sees what you're doing, and he has sent me down to confine you." And it states that Rahab and Gabriel is always in charge of subduing Rahab. So all praises to the Most High. You're going to see the video I've made upon the Shamir, or made about the Shamir, and you're going to see now the video that I've studied and made upon Rahab, the king of the deep, the angel of the deep, the spirit of the deep, the demon of the seas, whatever you want to call him. All praises to the Most High.